Let's welcome the first keynote presenter. Check with me if he's here. Dr. Kashifu. Is Dr. Kashifu here?
No, he's replaced by Dr. Usman Abdullahi.
Okay, Dr. Usman, are you ready? If you are ready, then we will open the floor to you.
Yes, Musa, I'm ready. So please go ahead.
All right. So, yeah, feel free to share with us your keynotes. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good morning, good day. Well, I'm sure it's morning all over the place, everyone. It's a pleasure to have this opportunity to represent my DG CEO, Dr. Kashifu Inuwa Abdullahi, CCIE, at this very important and event. Dr. Kashifu, being a public servant, of course, Prof. Latit would know that when he was contacted, he promised to be here personally. But of course, as the demand of the office requires, he was called yesterday to be at the villa, presidential villa this morning. And so he asked that I stand in for him and then read his keynote. It's a pleasure that actually he has drafted the keynote. So, but if he were to be here himself, I mean, I'm sure he would just, pour it from his, mind. But I have to go through what he has put together. And it starts thus. It's a great pleasure and honor to address this distinguished audience at the Africa IPv6 Secure Summit and to speak on the theme, Nigeria's IPv6-driven digital public infrastructure, securing Africa's digital future. This subject touches not only the technical infrastructure of our continent, but its very destiny. This summit couldn't have come at a better time. It is a moment of immense opportunity for Africa, a continent brimming with talent, innovation, and untapped digital potential. But to truly harness this potential, we must lay down the right foundation. We must lay down the right foundation. At the very heart of this, digital public infrastructure, built securely, at scale, and for everyone. At the very heart of that infrastructure lies a simple but powerful innovation, IPv6. Through this keynote, I am proud to present Nigeria's journey in advancing IPv6 adoption as the foundation of our digital public infrastructure. This journey extends far beyond expanding address space. It is about embedding resilience, trust, and security into the very architecture of our networks. Today, I will share our experiences, the lessons we have learned, and our vision to safeguard not only Nigeria's digital future, but also Africa's shared digital destiny. You may be aware that IPv6 offers limitless addressing capacity and comes with built-in features such as IPsec, while enabling transformative technologies including IoT, 5G, Net 5, 5G, and smart city ecosystems. Yet, with these opportunities come new risks. The question before us is clear. Is Africa's critical infrastructure truly ready for IPv6 threats? From NITDA's assessment, while encouraging progress has been made, readiness remains uneven. Urgent interventions are required to strengthen technical capacity, close policy gaps, and harmonize security frameworks across the continent. Digital public infrastructure. Now, digital public infrastructure refers to the foundational digital systems that enable essential services in a modern economy. These include digital identity systems in Nigeria, like the Nigeria's National Identity Number, NIN, digital payment systems like the Nigeria Quick Response NQR, digital exchange layers for secure and interoperable government and private services. Digital public infrastructure is what allows citizens to access healthcare, education, government services, and financial tools with a single digital footprint, securely and efficiently. And unlike private platforms, DPI is built as a open, inclusive, and scalable. Why does it matter? And why does IPv6 matter for DPI and Africa? DPI relies on a vast network of connected devices and systems. Every digital identity registered, every payment made, every smart device deployed requires an IP address. But the challenge we have is IPv4, the old protocol, has run out of addresses. IPv4 gave us about 4.3 billion addresses, not enough for a single smart city, let alone a continent. Now I focus on Nigeria's adoption of IPv6 and the challenges as well as lessons learned. You may recall that about a year ago, we hosted the IPv6-driven Digital Infrastructure Summit here in Nigeria, Abuja, in collaboration with Huawei, IPv6 Forum, and the IPv6 Council of Nigeria. At the conference, Nigeria's IPv6 white paper was presented, and it provided a blueprint for national migration. However, challenges persist. 1, limited awareness and skills. ISPs and government operators remain more conversant with IPv4, with only a handful of IPv6 trained engineers across the country. Legacy systems. Much of Nigeria's digital infrastructure is still IPv4 based, requiring extensive dual stack deployments, testing environments. Few labs or sandboxes exist for secure IPv6 testing, slowing implementation. And lastly, resistance to change. Some operators view IPv6 as optional, delaying migration and creating systemic risk. Some of the lessons learned include IPv6 adoption must be policy-driven, not left to voluntary uptake. Migration is a whole of society task, requiring government, private sector, academia, and the civil society involvement. And security must be integrated by design, ensuring IPv6 deployments do not expand the attack surface of critical infrastructure. Scaling capacity building for IPv6 security. As the government IT development agency, the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, has identified capacity building as the central driver of IPv6 readiness. Our approach emphasizes training frameworks, expanding the work of the IPv6 Council, Nigeria, and embedding IPv6 security in national digital skills initiatives, such as the 3 Million Technical Talent Program, Threat Intelligence Exchange, promotion of Nigerian IPv6 Threat Intelligence Hub, interoperable with African SATs, and linked to global actors like ITU, FIRST, Interpol, and the rest. Public-private partnerships, leveraging collaboration with Cisco, Huawei, Google, and local ISPs to establish labs, organize drills, and transfer knowledge. Academic integration, supporting universities and research institutes to set up IPv6 cyber labs, preparing the next generation of engineers and researchers. Through these initiatives, NITDA is positioning Nigeria as a continental leader in IPv6 security capacity building. Policy gaps requiring urgent attention. Despite ongoing efforts, our review highlights critical policy gaps, such as absence of IPv6 security standards. Nigeria and most African states lack enforceable standards mandating IPv6 readiness for critical infrastructure operators. Fragmented national roadmaps. Without binding roadmaps and enforcement, migration is inconsistent and risks remain. Regional disconnect. Cross-border services suffer from divergent regulatory approaches, reducing resilience, and integration into cybersecurity strategies. Many national cybersecurity policies do not explicitly address IPv6 security risks. Our policy recommendations. We in the National Information Technology Development Agency recommend as follows. Establish national IPv6 security baseline for critical infrastructure, finance, energy, health, telecoms, etc. Mandate IPv6 compliance audits tied to ISP and operator licensing. Promote regional harmonization under ECOWAS and the African Union to ensure interoperability and shared situational awareness. Explicitly embed IPv6 risk into Nigeria's national cybersecurity strategy and critical information infrastructure protection frameworks. Is Africa's critical infrastructure ready? Based on our assessment, Africa is not fully ready for IPv6 threats. Adoption remains under about 5% continent-wide, leaving most infrastructure dependent on IPv4. Where IPv6 is deployed, weak configurations and lack of monitoring leave systems exposed to abuse of IPv6 neighbor discovery protocol, exploitation of IPv6 extension headers, misconfigured dual stack environments, and insecure IoT device directly exposed to on IPv6 networks. So as Africa advances IoT, 5G, 6G, and smart cities, the absence of IPv6 security standard risks cascading failures across critical services. So, what are our recommendations for Africa going forward? To ensure readiness, Africa must act with urgency and coordination. This summit couldn't have come at a better time, therefore. We therefore recommend the following. 1. Mandating IPv6 in critical infrastructure. Regulators should require secure IPv6 deployments for ISPs, cloud providers, and government operators. Scaling human capacity. Regional IPv6 cybersecurity centers of excellence should be established, modeled after Nigeria's skills programs like the 3MTT program. Building interoperable open systems. Africa must adopt open APIs, embrace global standards like MOSIT, and contribute to platforms like Digital Public Goods Alliance. Regional and global collaboration. The ECOWAS and African Union should drive harmonized IPv6 policies backed by operational links with ITU, FAST, and Interpol. And lastly, embedding IPv6 in cybersecurity governance. IPv6 must be fully integrated into critical infrastructure protection frameworks, national cybersecurity policies, and CERT operations. In conclusion, Africa's critical infrastructure is not fully prepared for IPv6 threats, but readiness is achievable. Nigeria's roadmaps demonstrate that with deliberate policies, scaled training, and international collaboration, IPv6 can be a secure foundation for Africa's digital future. IPv6 is more than a technical protocol. It is the architecture upon which Africa's sovereignty, resilience, and innovation will stand. Securing IPv6 adoption today will safeguard the continent's leap into an AI-driven, quantum-ready digital era. And we must build it ourselves with technologies that are scalable, secure, and sovereign. IPv6 is not just a technical upgrade. It is an enabler of inclusion, a defender of sovereignty, a bridge to innovation. So let us commit together to this journey. Let us build a digital Africa that is open, secure, and truly Africa. As I wish us very successful summit today, I thank you for your attention and God bless you all. Dr. Kashifu Inuwa Abdullahi, CCIE, NITDA, CEO, Nigeria. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That's overwhelming. That's overwhelming and quite interesting. IPv6 is not just a technical upgrade. That's very interesting. It's not just a technical upgrade. IPv6 is an enabler. It comes with a lot of opportunities. It's quite diminishing when people see IPv6 just like a replacement of IPv4. No, it's not. It's not just a replacement of IPv4, because when you hear us today talking about Internet of Things, smart cities, smart homes, things like that, all this technology cannot happen with IPv4. They can only happen with IPv6. And when you look at the contribution of the internet and to the growth, to the economic growth, both of Nigeria and Africa, we stay very optimistic, and we are on our hunger to get these things moving to the right speed. Unfortunately, as you painted in the presentation, we are still having a long way to go. from a global deployment of around 4 to 5% in the region, we need really to encourage people to deploy IPv6. And as technology keeps improving, there are going to be a lot of threats to the legacy protocols, that's the IPv4. So we encourage people to move to IPv6. Thank you very much, Dr. Usman.